It all started on an ordinary January weekend in 2019. Millions of men across America woke up, scrolled through their phones, and saw a video that would change everything. A 2-minute advertisement from one of the most trusted brands in history, Gillette, exploded across the internet and sparked a firestorm unlike anything the corporate world had ever seen. What was supposed to be a modern, meaningful message instantly turned into a global revolt. Customers who had been loyal for decades began boycotting, posting furious videos, and flooding social media with outrage. By Monday morning, the backlash had reached every corner of the world, and Gillette's century-old empire was crumbling in real time. This wasn't just a bad ad, it was the single biggest marketing disaster of the decade. Watch till the end, because what happened to Gillette proves how one wrong decision can destroy even the most powerful brand on earth. How Gillette built an empire. Long before controversy hit, Gillette was a name that meant innovation, quality, and trust. Founded in 1901 by King Camp Gillette, the company transformed the way men groomed themselves with the world's first disposable safety razor. It wasn't just a tool, it became part of everyday life. Fathers taught their sons to shave with Gillette, turning a simple act into a family tradition. By the mid-1900s, Gillette was everywhere, sponsoring sports, appearing in major events, and representing confidence, discipline, and pride. Its famous slogan, "The best a man can get," launched in 1989 and instantly became iconic, symbolizing excellence and ambition. Using Gillette meant more than just shaving, it meant striving to be your best self. When Procter & Gamble bought the company in 2005 for $57 billion, it was at its peak, holding nearly 70% of the global razor market. Gillette was more than a brand. It was a legacy. For over a century, it represented reliability and respect, a company built on understanding men. But in 2019, that connection would be tested like never before. The marketing mistake of the century. After decades of dominance, Gillette wanted to modernize its image. Executives believed the brand had to evolve with changing times and connect with younger audiences. So they brought in the gray New York agency and director Kim Gehrig, known for bold, message-driven ads. Their mission was to reinvent Gillette's classic slogan for a new era. The idea was to highlight responsibility and positive values, but somewhere in the process, the brand forgot its audience. Longtime loyal customers, the men who made Gillette successful, weren't consulted. Instead, the campaign became more about making a statement than celebrating the people who had trusted the brand for generations. In a climate filled with social discussions about behavior and accountability, Gillette's approach felt less like inspiration and more like criticism. What was meant to redefine masculinity instead alienated the company's most loyal customers. And when the ad went public, it didn't unite. It divided. The stage was set for one of the biggest brand backlashes the corporate world had ever seen. The "We Believe" ad goes live. On January 13th, 2019, Gillette launched its bold new campaign, "We Believe." The 2-minute film premiered across YouTube and social media, aiming to redefine what it meant to be the best a man can be. But instead of applause, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Many viewers felt the ad unfairly targeted men, transforming a message of inspiration into something that sounded like blame. Within hours, the dislike count exploded into the hundreds of thousands. By nightfall, it had passed 400,000, and hashtags like #BoycottGillette were trending worldwide. The video's comment section became a battleground as longtime customers voiced disappointment and anger, while reaction videos poured in from every corner of the internet. What was meant to start a conversation had become a firestorm. Across social media, parodies and takedowns began spreading faster than the original ad. YouTube's algorithm even started recommending these critical videos over Gillette's own upload. Overnight, a campaign meant to spark progress had turned the company into a global talking point for all the wrong reasons. It was clear the message had missed its mark completely. The viral revolt. By the next morning, the outrage had gone viral. Consumers began uploading clips of themselves throwing razors into trash cans, cutting up shaving products, and vowing to switch brands for good. The movement spread across platforms like wildfire, with YouTube and Twitter amplifying every act of protest. Reaction videos mocking the campaign gained millions of views, turning Gillette's PR dream into a public relations nightmare. Inside retail stores, the fallout became impossible to ignore. Reports surfaced from Walmart, Target, and supermarkets across the U.S. Shelves once emptied weekly were now fully stocked. Competitors like Harry's, Dollar Shave Club, and Schick capitalized immediately, welcoming a wave of former Gillette customers. But the revolt wasn't just about a single ad, it was about loyalty. For decades, Gillette had been more than a razor brand. It was part of men's lives, routines, and memories. Now, many felt disrespected by the very company they once trusted. The emotional bond was broken, and once that happened, no marketing strategy could fix it. What had started as a message about progress had now become one of the biggest cautionary tales in advertising history. The $8 billion meltdown. As the outrage grew, the financial damage started showing fast. Within months, analysts estimated Gillette lost around $350 million in sales. Procter & Gamble was forced to write down $8 billion in the company's value, an almost unthinkable hit for a brand once seen as unshakable. Retailers reported empty aisles where Gillette's competitors suddenly thrived. Dollar Shave Club subscriptions spiked, Harry's gained market share, and even long-forgotten brands saw renewed demand. The backlash had crossed from the internet into real-world consequences. What began as a cultural debate had become a financial crisis. The once dominant leader of men's grooming was now struggling to hold on to the customers who had once defined its success. In just a few months, over a century of loyalty had unraveled, and the numbers proved it. Gillette wasn't just losing money, it was losing trust, identity, and relevance in a space it had once owned completely. Every quarterly report became a reminder that one campaign had changed everything. The defiant response. As the dust settled, everyone expected Gillette's leadership to issue an apology or admit the campaign went too far. But in a shocking twist, the company did the opposite. In August 2019, Gary Coombe, head of Procter & Gamble's grooming division, publicly stated that the $8 billion loss was a price worth paying. His words sent shockwaves through the business world. Instead of acknowledging the backlash, Coombe doubled down, saying Gillette would continue promoting socially conscious messages regardless of the financial hit. Investors were stunned. Analysts called it one of the boldest and riskiest corporate statements ever made, and loyal customers felt further alienated. What might have been a moment of recovery turned into an act of defiance. Rather than rebuilding trust, Gillette reinforced the divide, proving that even the world's biggest brands could fall when they stopped listening to the people who built them. It was no longer about razors or sales. It became a symbol of how easily a legacy can collapse when ego outweighs empathy. The domino effect. Gillette's collapse didn't just affect its own sales, it sent shockwaves through the entire advertising industry. Companies around the world watched the backlash unfold in real time, realizing how easily one campaign could destroy a century-old empire. Marketing executives who once admired Gillette's boldness began rethinking their own strategies overnight. Internal meetings at other brands reportedly shifted focus from making a statement to understanding the audience. This was no longer just a marketing story, it had become a corporate lesson in humility. The We Believe ad had proven that when a brand forgets who it's talking to, it can lose everything. Money, loyalty, and credibility. Gillette's experiment in social messaging became a warning sign to others. Audiences don't want to be lectured, they want to be respected. In the following months, agencies toned down political themes, shifting towards safer, relatable content that focused on quality, performance, and trust. The ripple effect was undeniable. Gillette's failure had changed the playbook for global marketing forever. Even years later, business schools and advertising seminars still use this case as the ultimate example of how one wrong message can trigger a worldwide backlash. The lesson every brand learned. Gillette's downfall wasn't just about razors, it was about understanding people. The company had built an empire on consistency, trust, and emotional connection, but it lost sight of what truly mattered: knowing its audience. When a brand turns from celebrating its customers to challenging them, the relationship breaks instantly. In today's digital world, that kind of mistake spreads faster than ever. Social media doesn't forget, and every negative reaction becomes a megaphone. Gillette learned this the hard way. The ad meant to inspire discussion ended up alienating millions, proving that even the biggest companies can crumble when they ignore the emotions of the people who made them great. The message was clear for every brand watching. Identity matters. You can't rebuild trust once it's gone. Gillette's story became a permanent reminder that values are powerful, but only when they align with your audience. Respect your customers or risk losing them forever. What happened to Gillette wasn't just a marketing failure. It was the day the world learned that loyalty has limits. For brands across industries, this became a turning point. Marketing shifted from trying to teach consumers to learning how to listen to them. The customer's voice grew stronger, and the age of blind corporate confidence was over. Companies realized that connection, not controversy, is what sustains a legacy. Gillette's fall became the ultimate lesson. Once you lose the people's trust, no amount of advertising can buy it back. The fall of a giant. In the end, Gillette's story became a modern business legend, not for its success, but for its downfall. What began as a bold attempt to inspire social change turned into one of the most expensive lessons in marketing history. The brand that once stood for strength and reliability ended up dividing its own audience. The numbers eventually stabilized, but the damage to its image never fully healed. Gillette didn't just lose sales, it lost trust. And in business, that's something money can't buy back. The We Believe campaign will always serve as a warning. When a brand forgets who it's speaking to, it risks losing everything. So now the question is, did Gillette's message truly spark progress, or did it mark the end of an era? And can a brand ever recover once the people who built it turn away? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest business wins and the shocking failures that change the world forever.